Hi, welcome to Chris Cook for You Too. Have I got a treat for you tonight? I'm going to bring you one of my grandmother's all-time favorites. She used to make this dish all the time. Now, my grandmom had a whole lot of mouths to feed, so she didn't make it with what people are usually using today, which is a can of salmon. My grandmother used a can of mackerels, and that's the way I'm going to bring it to you tonight. Now, if you choose to use salmon, that's no problem. You can work the same recipe, just take out the mackerels and put in the salmon. But this is the way she made it, and this is the way I'm going to bring it to you. So let's get started with the ingredients that you're going to need. You're going to need some flour. To the flour, you're going to need, of course, the mackerels. Now, you can substitute if you want to for salmon, but she made this with mackerels, and it was very, very tasty. You're going to need 1 egg per can, so here I have 2 eggs. You're going to need an onion, and you're going to need some salt. Now, you're going to fry this up in the skillet. That's all you're going to need to do, and you got a great treat. Now, for breakfast, she would serve this with biscuits and syrup. And for dinner, she would serve this with rice and biscuits. So this is a meal that you can alternate, very tasty, extremely cheap, because my grandmother had a lot of mouths to feed. So it's extremely cheap, but I think that if you try it, you're truly going to enjoy it. And I'm going to go away, get myself together, and I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm back, so let's get started. I've already opened up my cans, and I've drained them, so I'm going to go ahead and take my mackerels out of the can. Now, a lot of people will debone their fish, and I'll see if I can kind of show you what that means. But you really don't need to really do that. You see that bone that's down the center? A lot of people will pull that bone out, and then they'll go ahead and they'll mix it after they get the bone out. I don't do it because the bone is so fine until you really, it crushes right up when you crush up the mackerels. But if you choose to do that, you can go ahead and debone yours. Not a problem. All you have to do is split it down the middle like I just did and pull that bone. And it's not enough to get caught in your throat or anything like that. So I took out a couple of them. But for the sake of time, I'm not going to just take them all out. So what you want to do is you want to just fork this up. Okay? And I'm going to tell you something. This will feed a whole lot of folk. And it's a real cheap meal when you're doing meals on a budget. And if you like fish, it's healthy as well. So, now that you got this kind of like fine chopped with your fork, you're going to go ahead and add your ingredients. You have salt. And you have eggs. And I'm going to go ahead and stir up my eggs. So you're going to just kind of, mix them up, scramble them in this, in the bowl. You don't have to do it. You can do it the other way if you choose, but it's just easier for me to do it that way. Now, I like a lot of onions. You may like a little onions. You may even use onion salt. You can go ahead and do that if you want to, but I'm using my onions, and I have a little bit more than what you would normally use, and I'm going to put, like I always do, the recipe will be in the description box. Okay, so once you get that kind of blended up, what you want to do next is add 1 tablespoon of flour per can. Now, I'm using all-purpose flour. Some people do use self-rising flour. I don't see the need for that. They may think that they get a little bit more of a rise out of the patty when they fry it up. I don't see a need for that. So I just use straight flour. So I'm going to put in, for 1 can, I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of flour. And for the other can, because you see now I had 2 cans, I'm going to put in another tablespoon of flour. Now you're done with that. That's all the ingredients that you're going to need. You're going to put a little cooking oil in your skillet. And you can use the used grease. If you have any used cooking oil, You can put that in there and fry it up with that, and you're done. And I'm telling you, don't knock it until you tried it. Because back in the day, people had to use what they had to make what they could. And when they had a large family, and most of your southern families, they grew kind of large. When they had a large family, this is a go-to meal. So I think that even for your child, even in the modern days and for your family, this is a go-to meal. I think that if you try it, again, I say, you're going to enjoy it. Now, see, that's it. Only thing you're going to do is make a patty out of this once you get to the stove, and you're going to fry it up, and that meal is done. Get you some biscuits, get you some syrup if that's what you like, doing it for breakfast, or get you some biscuits and some rice, or get whatever it is that you want to go to. But this is your meat part of your meal, and you will enjoy it if you like any kind of fish at all. Alrighty, we're ready. Gonna meet you at the stove. Be right back. Okay, now I'm at the stove and I'm using cooking oil. This is used cooking oil, and as you can see, it's maybe about a tablespoonful. And I'm going to use my ice cream scoop. Now, my grandmama did not use no ice cream scoop. Let me just start out by saying that. She would use a spoon, and what she would do is take a spoonful, put it down, and then she would pat it out with the back of the spoon. Okay, that's an old school cook. But I'm using this. Now what I have to do is I have to fry it up on one side, and then I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to fry it up on the other side. Now that takes maybe about, I don't know, 3-4 minutes on this side, and then I'm going to turn it over. Back in the day, they didn't have a lot of money. Really, they didn't need a lot of money to be spending it on food because they had a large family. So what they would do is they would take food from their fields and then buy a limited amount of foods, and they would let that do. And don't think that they couldn't stretch $1, because they really, really could. How many of y'all remember eating fatback? Fatback and biscuits. That was something that they used to eat a lot as well. That was just salt pork. But there's so many different meals that you can make, and my mind just went back to this, which is a very pleasant memory of my grandmom, and it's what she left as her legacy, and it's still living on even today through me. So I just wanted to bring this to you and possibly show you just another meal that you can make that's super, super cheap. So when you flip it, then I'm going to go ahead and pat it out even a little bit more. Now I'm not going to keep you here while I do them all. I just want to show you how this is done. This is 2-3 minutes. And then it's done, and then I'll probably flip it back just one more time. You want to make certain that your skillet keeps enough grease in it, but a tablespoonful is enough. And like I told you, I'm using used cooking oil, so that even helps in the process of saving money. This is quick, fast, easy, but yet filling. I think that, you know, it's an old school recipe, but we don't want to get away from that too much because the cost of living is so high now. So if you can make a meal with using lesser money, then do what you have to do in order to feed your family. Okay, now you can put this one in your repertoire and save it for a rainy day. I have even taken these croquettes. This is, I don't know if I mentioned, I don't think I did mention it in the beginning of the video, but I have even taken this and made sandwiches out of it. Did it the same way I would do a hamburger. Did it the identical same way. And it's quite filling and quite good. Okay? You won't be disappointed in it, especially if you love fish. Now this was all it was to it. Okay? Flatten it out just a little bit more. And I don't use the self-rising flour. So what I'm going to do is, I got quite a few to make up with those 2 cans. I'm going to show you how much it'll get. And we would normally get 1. And if we want seconds, we could go back and get seconds, because it was enough food to actually feed us. And they didn't have no money to be buying bacon out of the store. So they just bought what they had and did what they could with it. So I'm going to go away and finish up these patties. And when I get through with them, I'm going to bring you back and show you what it looks like. But look at how simple and easy that was to do. Very simple, very easy, very quick, but yet very, very filling. So I'll be right back. All right, now I'm back and I'm down to the last one. And those two cans brought me 15 plus the two that I ate, which was really 17. But they're very, very good. And the last one, it's not really a full patty. It's just what was left. Now think about how many, my grandmom would have gotten because she was using a tablespoon. I was using a scoop. So she would have got far more. That's why I said economically, this is a very good meal and it's very tasty. If you do what I did, you're going to get the same results that I got. Now this is 15 patties on the plate plus the two that I ate. That's 17 patties plus the one that's over in the skillet. That's quite a few, but you try this recipe. I know you're going to love it. Bring it back memories from my grandmother, and trust me, that's a long time ago. But as always, thank you for watching. Chris Cook for you too. Bye. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Chris Cook for you too. And don't forget to share this video. Bye.